Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 15 for Shadows of Darkain. Where we left off, Red is deciding to help the city guard who had been kind of pushed out of power in order to take back the city itself. The team overall is on the hunt, or they are being hunted by the Royal Guard at the command of Commander Fisk. So right now, Ellis and Jules need to find the old shrine, while still keeping in mind that Red is also out there. The former Captain Waverly suggested that they go look for the old shrine as it's one of the oldest landmarks in the city. Thus, it might have some point of entry for the underground caverns, or I should say tunnels. For this episode, Oracle-wise, we will be using the usual tarot cards and the mixture of the GameMaster's Apprentice base deck. And for the actual Oracle itself, percentile system as usual. So, and we are playing with my in-progress one-page RPG called RPG LITE. I've made several videos already if you are not familiar with it, but it is compatible with Maze Rats, with the Oracle, with the character sheets Maze Rats. So that's why nothing looks really much different besides the attack and armor. I have assigned specials for each character based on my new system. And remember, the rules that I will be using in this video might change in the next video as I'm consistently upgrading and modifying my RPG LITE system. So let's begin, as I don't have too much time today, but I want to get through at least this next scene for our team. Okay, so Red, let's focus on him first. He right now is at the shrine with the city guard. There's probably, let's say, a dozen of them. Or I'm going to say 24, probably 20 plus. Let's say there's about 20 guards, roughly around 20. Okay, they're preparing, they're getting their weapons fixed up. It's an old abandoned landmark, not much attention to it. It's kind of secluded in an alleyway. Red is walking around thinking what to do next, if he should leave or if he should help them out. And like I said, Red has decided overall to help them because he can see them as a potential, well, currently an ally. Pathwise, we are, here's our paths. We still have to eventually get to the dungeon, which might hold the answers for this whole entire campaign in general. We need to search for Lore as he's still out in large. He's still at large, and we're basically on the run trying to prove our innocence. Go. And then we got Commander Fisk. Why did he kill the captain? If he did kill the captain, and that's not really a tip or a hint. That's just a general question. Why would he kill the captain if the captain's even dead? Because we had our suspicions about the captain in the beginning of this whole, when we first were introduced to Captain Hyperion. Okay. Now, Red is going to find the guard who is self-appointed leader of this faction of city guard. So let's find him. Can Red detail or at least spot the person in charge? Now, Red is a cunning tactician. So I think he can recognize leadership. That's one of the specials for my game. He can recognize leadership. Now, I have to roll 7 through 9 as a partial success, 10 plus for success, 6 or less as a fail. We have a modifier of will, power, plus 1. Okay, so 5, 6. He's not able... Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to roll for advantage as a tactician. Oh, there we go. So 6 and 3 are the numbers chosen for that. 9, 10. He's able to see a very tall, well-groomed, almost a brute in the center talking with 5 other guards as they sit around him. He seems to be discussing some potential plans. It looks like they have something already in the works. Red weaves through the crowd, weaves through the guards. A lot of guards are nodding at Red, acknowledging his presence and how he's helped them many times in the past. He walks up to the leader. This tall leader, currently that's what we're calling him, he turns to Red and says the following. Let's see what he says. Let's draw an oracle card, a tarot card. Oh, he's in a bind. Okay, so that actually makes sense. So this picture right here, I'm just looking at this character is in a bind. 8 of intelligence. Okay, I'm going to ignore the text. The visual. This is the leader right here. He looks to Red and he says, "Ah, Red, good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you found us. We are definitely outnumbered here, as you are well aware of the situation. The royal guards have pushed us out, and we need every man we can find. Are you willing to help us, my friend?" And we haven't met this guy before, so let's draw out a name for him. This will be a new NPC, so let's get my NPC booklet. Here it is. Okay, so we have let's see, maze rats. Still using maze rats for names. It's quite good. I'll just choose one just off the bat. Let's see. We have. I'll do upper class surnames or even civilian names. Class surnames. There's Fisk, Slora, Wexley. I'm more leaning towards the surnames, the lower class surnames. Chips. Ooh, Chips is good. I like that. Chips. Okay, so City Guard. Let's see. In parentheses here. Chips. He's a human. I'm gonna say he's male. Maybe he's really young, 28 years old. Okay. There we go. We won't worry about appearance just yet. Okay, so we're talking to him. All right. So he's in a bind. We meet Chips. He's going to recruit us. We volunteer to help. Basically, it's recruitment. So recruit Red. Okay, which means Red nods. He says, "Of course I'll help you. I see there is quite a number of you here. Are there any more?" Oh, okay, we mean whisper. Red whispers. He says, "Yes, of course I'll help. Just one question. Are there any more bodies out there? Do you have any more hideouts about the city of Riverport?" And I think they do actually. So, does the city guard have any more hideouts throughout Riverport? I'm going to say 75% chance. Yes, that is a yes. So, the guard says, Chip says, "Oh, yes, of course. We have about 3 more hideouts spread across the city for situations just like this one." And then he mentions the following. Let's see. Lower class buildings, of course. Let's roll for it. So red die is the table, blue is the choice as usual. There's three other, here, let me write this down. So 3 other hiding locations for the guards. Okay, so the first one is going to be 5-1. Shipyards, that makes sense. So 1 shipyards, the harbor. Essentially the harbor. Maybe it's in the dockmaster's quarters. Okay, the second area, 5-2, 5-3. 5-3 is going to be the stockyard, okay? Stockyard. And the third will be a upper class building. Well, I'll see, 6-3. Let's do a warehouse. That makes sense. Okay, so fairly, industrial locations, I should say. All right. So he mentions these locations. Jules thinks for a moment as a tactician, and let's see what he thinks. Now, the Royal Guard, gotta put my thinking cap on here. The Royal Guard are essentially hunting us, and I don't think they know. Well, let's do a world question here. Does the Royal Guard know about these hideouts? I think some of them might be former city guard, so let's say 50-50. I just don't know. They do. Okay, so that is something Red mentions. He says, "Okay, well that's a start." But don't you worry that some of the royal guard might be formerly your own? And Chips thinks for a moment. Yes, you're quite right, my friend. Most likely these locations have been compromised, which means suddenly the front door to the chapel breaks down. The door goes flying, like not this explosion, but gets kicked down. But just like a movie, gets kicked down. While they're discussing. And let's go to our next page here. So that we're on episode 15, if I didn't say that already. At 15 continued. Suddenly there is a some kind of smoke bomb gets thrown in, like basically a device like this gets thrown into the room and explodes. Smoke covers the entire area. So the room is panicking. Guards are not really sure what's happening. I think some do, some don't. We have to roll for a dexterity check to see if we can run out of there. Because again, our character is nervous. I mean, he could fight, we could flee, but we definitely don't want to get captured. I think the city guard are not as much of a problem compared to Red. Red's a fugitive, he needs to run. Well, let's see this. When this happens, when the door gets kicked down, a smoke bomb gets thrown in. Does Chips yell to Red to get out of here? I'm going to say 65% chance. Okay, he does. Yep. So Chips tells Red to flee. He says, "Oh, my friend, run! We'll hold them off! Go find your friends!" And then Red bolts out, so let's roll dexterity. +2, so this will be Cunning Tactician. I don't think this one really has an advantage. We are a rogue, but that's more of a previous system mention. So I'm going to stick to 2. Okay, so 5. Oh, we actually get it. 5, 6, 7. We are able to run out of there, but the compromise is the following. So Red escapes out of the room, the chapel, but the complication will be the following. Ooh, we run into someone. So mysterious. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I'm trying to think of the time. Who do we run into? Let's draw a card. If we even run into anybody. Civilization. A scream. It's going to be a civilian. So the scream kind of gave it away for me. We burst through the back door. In the process, we bump into a civilian who's holding something. The civilian topples over and drops a bunch of apples, maybe like a crate of apples. And as we bump into them, we look around to see if anybody saw that, or if there's any guard around. Are there any royal guards? Most likely there is. They're surrounding the area. I'm going to take 65% chance. There is, yep. There are 2 royal guards that are to the right who point. There's one of them! Stop him! So 2 royal guards. See Red. Red now needs to flee. So we're on the run once again. We can hear panic and screaming. More so panic from the chapel inside. He hates to leave his, potential comrades. But he needs to get the hell out of there. The smoke is starting to burst through. It's starting to seep through the door he just burst out of. And now he's in a back alleyway. Or, a back pathway, I guess. The 2 royal guards start running after us, after Red. Red needs to find another way out of here. Now, he's quickly looking around. He's a tactician. So, Red needs to find, I think, a way up on top of the roofs. He needs to scale some walls. So, does he spot anything like a rail, a pipe, a ladder, crate, a brick wall that has ways to grab up onto, like wall climbing? Let's see. Oh, 6-4, he does. That's +1, so that's 11. He spots a pipe that scales a 2-story building, and he climbs it. So red climbs pipe, 2-story building. Now let's see if we can do it. We need to do a strength check. This will be tough. Okay, here we go. Oh, he barely is able to do it. So 7, he's able to scale all the way almost to the top. He gets to, but then the royal guards start to climb up too. They start shaking the pipe, and the pipe starts to pop off the wall. The screws are getting, or the hinges are getting loose, and he starts to feel it. He's just near the top. So the guards, one of the guards, maybe one of the more braver of the two, climbs, but suddenly there is going to be. Does someone? I think someone intervenes here. Does somebody intervene? 75% chance. Yep, that is. Okay, but it is a small intervention. Or it's a small interruption. Oh, someone a beast. Interesting. Supper. Red. I'm ignoring everything around the card here. I'm looking at the red. What else has been red here so far? The phoenix. So, remember, for some reason the bird, the shape-shifting phoenix, it's a shape-shifting creature of some sort, has grown, has some kind of attachment or interest in red. So, the phoenix suddenly appears from the sky and dives down, swoops in, and attacks the royal guard on the pipe, causing him to like flail his arms, and he falls off and falls on his back. The phoenix scratches with its claws on the guard's armor, and the armor the guard is screaming. The other guard is trying to hit the bird with a sword or something, trying to shoo it away. The bird. So that means red is able to climb on to the building top, and red is going to try to kick the pipe off. So we gotta do another strength check. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Perfect. So red is able to break the pipe off, and it falls off onto the ground on the path. So kicks pipe off. I should say breaks the pipe. So he is good for now. And now red is going to run back to, I believe, Captain Waverly's, if he knows. So wherever he is, let's do a knowledge check. He's a tactician, so maybe he knows the directions of the city, so I'll give him an advantage roll here. He has to spot ways to jump over the buildings if that's consistent, if there are buildings that are in similar height, 2-story buildings. So let's roll to see if he can spot his way back to Captain Waverly. He's next to the market, essentially. Yep, he is. That's a 10 plus the 1 willpower. That's 10. So I will include that with dexterity. He starts running and scaling the buildings. He starts jumping the buildings, kind of like what Batman does. So red runs, then basically hops buildings towards the market. Okay. Towards the market. Now, he's able to escape the 2 guards. They are struggling with the Phoenix. That's the end of that scene. Now, let's get back to Ellis and Jules. Okay, so did they leave already? Let's retrace my steps here. They're still in Captain Waverly's house, I believe. But let's keep in mind about these 3 locations that we heard of earlier. So Captain Waverly believes that there's believes them. He believes us. Mentions the shrine. Okay, so we're still there. All right, so Ellis and Jules are preparing to leave at a good point. Does Captain Waverly, if it's up to city code, does he have a back exit, a back door to his house? Let's say 50-50. Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so the front entrance is the only real way out. So Ellis and Jules are like, "Do you have a back door?" He said, "No, I'm sorry, Molly, just the front door." While he's sitting down, so Ellis and Jules get their armor, suit up, or clean themselves off, and they go towards the door, look through the window. They move the shades a bit. Now, are there any guards out there, or what do they see? Let's draw a tarot card. Here's what they see: a ship, a few individuals, someone commanding. You know who they see? They spot. Oh, interesting. This is Commander Fisk. Is it Commander Fisk? That's what I'm getting at here. I'm gonna say 75% chance. It is Commander Fisk. At first, it looks like there's two very uh, higher higher grade Royal Guards outside the door, literally at the worst possible moment. They close the shades and they tell Captain Waverly, "Shit, there's two Royal Guards right outside the door," and there's a knock on the door. Okay, so the star here, two Royal Guards. They didn't see Fisk, but Fisk is there outside locations around Captain Waverly's house. I keep saying Captain Waverly, just Waverly. Waverly House. So outside, they knock. Waverly says, "Quickly, hide upstairs in one of the closets. I'll handle them. Don't worry about it." So they run upstairs. Let's see, hide upstairs. Jules is going to kind of remain at the top of the stairwell to listen in. Waverly answers the door, or he takes a deep breath, and he answers the door casually, holding a drink to make it look like he's playing his part. He says, "Ah, Commander Fisk." He says it nice and loud, and Jules hears it, and he's like, "It's Fisk." So Ellis is panicking, or he's nervous. I don't think he's panicking on top. Like his heart is racing. Both their hearts are racing. He's like, "They found us." And Jules says, "One moment. I'm going to listen in." So I don't have to roll for this. I think we can hear it. Fisk greets Waverly. "Former Captain Waverly, it's very good to see you, my friend. Are you aware of the situation that has transpired in the past few hours?" Waverly says, "No, I don't believe. What's been going on out there? What's with all the commotion?" As he's drinking, he takes a sip of his alcohol. He says, "Ah, yes, your four old friends have been quite a problem lately. We believe they are responsible for the death of your predecessor, Captain Therian. No, not predecessor, sorry. Successor, Captain Therian." And Waverly acts surprised. He's like, "Not word. Why would they do such a thing?" And Fisk is like, "That is why we're looking for them. Have you seen them at all?" And Waverly, obviously, he's going to lie. He says, "No, I haven't seen them since yesterday. They were here earlier." Fisk is like, "Ah, very interesting. Well," and then Fisk kind of looks back. He sees the chairs, and there's two extra mugs on the table. He looks back at Waverly. The Royal Guards look at each other, and he asks Waverly, "Ah, Waverly, have you had some company lately?" And Waverly looks back and says, he thinks for a moment. He says, "Well, yes, I had some friends over, but they left earlier this morning. Travelers." And the commander's like, "Friends of yours? Well, you wouldn't mind if my two guards have a look around your residence?" Waverly, obviously, he takes a step back. He kind of looks back, glances. Jules, now does Red hear this? I'm going to say he does. I'll give Jules an advantage here because he is a ambitious explorer. So I think he has a pretty good hearing. Does he hear that? Let's see. That is a 5, 6, 7. He barely hears it. He hears the mention of, let's say, he hears Fisk's voice, and then he starts to hear footsteps. So he's thinking, he tells Ellis. Ellis gets up and says, "We have to hide." But where? So they look around. They try to be quiet. The royal guards enter, and Waverly says, "Oh yes, yes, please go right ahead." As they already enter, so he's just kind of he's being well, generous to say the least. At least he has to play the part. If not, it rouses suspicion. Sorry. The royal guards look at the mug. They put it down. They look around. They're holding their weapons. They're walking by the stairwell. They look up the stairs. They don't see anybody. Fisk is kind of standing at the door looking too. And the guards conclude searching the first story. They says, "There's nothing on the first floor. Should we search the second?" Fisk looks to Waverly. Waverly says, "Well, I don't see why not." So while we're up there, again, Fisk is at the front door. The guards search upstairs, so they hear footsteps coming up. And I think, is there a window? 90% chance. Is there a window on the second floor? Oh yeah, there is. All right, there's a couple windows. So there's a back window past the study. They go to the window and they open it to climb out and climb on top of the roof to hide. So let's do a dexterity here. I'm gonna do advantage with Red. Again, not Red. I'm sorry, Jules. He's a tactician, or he's an ambitious explorer. Are we able to get? Let's write down what we want to do. Let's see. Flee out back window. Hide on the rooftop. So, let's see. Time check. Okay, we're rolling. Here we go. With dexterity +2. Not bad, I don't think. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a perfect. That's a standard success. Okay, we are able to exit the window, jump up on top of the roof, and hide. I'm going to say the roof does have an incline, so we have to climb up carefully. We close the window behind us with our weapon or a pole. We close the window with just some item. I have a 10-foot pole. Ellis has a 10-foot pole. They close the window. Perfect timing. Okay, so they close the window. Now, they hide against the side of the roof. I'm going to say there's not much. Are they visible? Are they visible up there? I'm going to say 25% chance. Oh, that's 100. Now reroll. They're barely not. Okay, so they're barely able to hide. All right, so they're hiding. The guards walk upstairs. They look around. They check the study. They see the windows closed. The shades are kind of swaying a little bit. And they're kind of suspicious a bit. Then the other guards searching the other room, the bedroom, looking around the closets, moving clothes around. They check a war chest. They don't see anything. The cupboard. They don't see anything. And they go back to the stairway. And they walk back downstairs. They say, "Amanda, clear." And Fisk is like, quite. Thank you for your time, former Captain Waverly. If we need you, we will see you soon. Hopefully not. Waverly doesn't say anything. He just nods, and the guards leave. So, guards and Fisk leave. That was a close one. Jeez. That's why I like using the tarot cards. They're very unsuspecting, and it kind of just gives me the idea on the spot. So they leave. Now, while we are, Ellis and Jules are on the top. Red is building hopping, extreme parkour across the rooftops. Now, does Red see his two comrades, Ellis and Jules, in the distance? I'm gonna say, well, we have to do a skill check actually. So this will be his tactician, so I give him an advantage. +1 willpower. Oh, okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8. He does, but he doesn't have a way to get there. They ran out of roofs. So he stops up on top of one building. It's like a library of sorts. He stops and he sees them. I think they're probably going to be, how far are they? Let's see in yards. They're 16 yards away. That's not too far, actually. Okay, so he can't get to them. All right, so Red, 2 stars. Red stops. There's a gap between the buildings. He's on top of a library. He starts waving. Doesn't want to shout. He can't shout. He's a whisper. He starts trying to signal them. And does R2 spot them? Let's see. I'm gonna use Jules for this one. No bonus. Just a 2. Oh, 9. Yes, I do. Okay. Though it has to be a small complication. Jules spots. Jules sees Red. And he taps Ellis on the shoulder. Ellis is kind of looking down, and he points. Look over there. It's Red. He's okay. And Red is relieved to see that they spotted him. But unfortunately, I think there is one small setback, and that setback is going to be, let's see, some lady sleeping, or I don't know. Red. That Red again. Oh, you know, I have an idea. This will be fine. It's not really a complication. It's more of a nuisance. The Phoenix is flying around, and it starts circling Jules. Or Red. Red sees it. He looks up, and he's wondering if that will give him away. He looks down to see if he sees any Royal Guard. Are there any Royal Guard beneath him on the roadway, on the paths? 50-50. I don't. Ooh, there is. Okay, there is Royal Guards. Probably 4 or 5 of them walking around the buildings looking for him. So he kneels. Okay, so Red kneels. Red kneels, hides on the roof. The Phoenix circles him and then lands beside him. Like that. So, and then like looks at him, kind of his head's kind of tilting like this, just kind of looking at him, walks around. And then because the complication with our prior roll is that Jules kneels, now they can't see him. I believe Ellis spotted the bird. I'm going to say that. We won't roll for it. Ellis saw the Phoenix. He tells Jules, I don't know if I'm seeing things, but I'm quite sure I just saw a Phoenix. Because they never saw him before. They never saw the bird. Red is the only one that I believe, that has seen the bird in person. The one who escaped from Maiden's Claw. And Jules is like, are you sure? He's like, yes, I'm pretty sure right where you're pointing. I saw the Phoenix land. Most likely next to Red. And Jules is like, why does he have the bird? Like, why is the Phoenix there? So, Red is confused. He doesn't know what to do with this bird. Again, the bird's friendly, just kind of looks at him, just staring at him. And then Red does this with his arm, puts his arm out. The bird hops up on top of his arm. And he's like, oh, okay, so it's friendly. So the Phoenix is friendly. Let's do this. Phoenix on Red's shoulder now, like a pirate. Red kind of like climbs over on top of his shoulder, but it's a big bird, so it's easy to point out. Red's like, okay. He whispers to himself, okay, I have a pet now. And the bird makes a noise, not very loud, goes like that. And then Ellis and Jules can see the bird now, kind of above his shoulder, and he says, look, it's over there. So they have to find a way to jump the roofs, get closer to. They both have to figure out a way to get closer to each other to reconvene. So, is there a way for Ellis and Jules to also roof runners to where Red is hiding? Because Red can't. There is no other spot to jump by. Too. Let's see. I'm going to say 60% chance. There is not. Okay, so they climb. They not crawl. They kind of make their way to the edge of Waverly's house, out of sight, and they see Red just behind the roof. Red sees them, and that is where I'm going to leave the episode. They're staring right at each other. So both sides, both teams. Okay, so both Red sees Ellis and Jules. All right. and Jules. So there is no way to get to each other. There's just notes for myself. Each other. There's gaps in the buildings. Okay, so now we are roof running, which is a maze rat skill. FYI, I think it is. Let's take a look, actually. It's a path. Roof runner, yep, climbing, leaping, balancing. Okay, so this is where our story, this is where this episode will end. Again, episodes will be a little shorter now. My time is becoming rather limited. So this will be next episode 16. And we leave off right here. So I hope you enjoyed this one. There was some excitement in this one. I did enjoy it, as brief as it was. We escaped the chapel that unfortunately got overrun with royal guards. We fled 2 royal guards. We're now climbing. But now the guards know. So some of the royal guard knows Red is on the roof, on the rooftops. And they're confident that he will be on there for quite some time. And then, question is, the Phoenix, can it shapeshift? Again, to something else. Red is thinking about that. Like, now it's a companion. Maybe can have it shapeshift to a, I don't know, a bear or snake or something to climb down. Who knows? Redo has to basically, he's just thinking about it. And then the teams have to regroup in a safe area. Maybe some of the areas mentioned before have not been raided yet. The shipyard, the warehouse. So let's write that down. We have the shipyards. We have the stockyard, which I think is the same thing. Stockyard, I'll consider it different. And a warehouse. Similar to the shipyard, perhaps. Okay, there you go. And then our team escaped from Ellis's, and Fisk himself made his presence aware at Waverly's house. In our search, we were able to roll exactly what we needed to escape. Okay, guys, that was not too bad. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.